Good afternoon, family members, friends, and guests. I'd like to welcome you to Colorado State University. I'm Dave McElfresh. It's my privilege to serve as the program chair for the Student Affairs and Higher Education Graduate Program. First, let me say congratulations to the Sahe class of 2013. Our program is in its 45th year, and today each of you who are graduating will experience the same sense of personal accomplishment as the many hundreds of graduates who have preceded you throughout our long history. All of the family members and friends and colleagues who are here have traveled a distinctive path to arrive at today's ceremony. This event has special significance for all of you. You've stood by these graduates with your understanding and support, and so I'd like to ask all of the family members and friends to stand and be recognized. For those family members and friends who could not be here today, we have a special setup to record the ceremony, and then we're going to be posting it on our website for viewing. I'd like to thank Sean Geiser and the Laurie Student Center staff for helping get the recording going and for helping get it posted. Incidentally, this is a kind of a special moment. Our Laurie Student Center is going to be remodeled over the next year and a half. This is the last event that will happen in this ballroom. In this ballroom, really forever, right, Mike? Much of our program's success rests with a group of highly motivated and very talented faculty, and with a group of very dedicated assistantship and practicum supervisors. Would all of the faculty and staff who participated in the Sahe experience for these graduates please stand and let us thank you. Take a moment to recognize one of our faculty members. Paul Osencup works in the Office of Conflict Resolution and Student Conduct Services. He's been teaching our Human Relations and Education class for the past 4 years. Paul and his partner will be heading to California this summer for new professional opportunities for both of them. He's highly respected by our faculty and our students, and we will miss him. Paul, would you please stand and be recognized? As we have one faculty member moving out of the Sahe program, we have another faculty member moving into the Sahe program. 1 year ago, almost exactly to the day, Kyle Oldham was receiving his doctoral degree at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Kyle has joined our Sahe faculty and is also a faculty advisor. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Kyle Oldham. We are very fortunate to have 6 people who work behind the scenes every day to make our program a success. 5 of those staff members are Kathy Lucas and Kelly Clark in the School of Education, Kim Akamoto in the Vice President for Student Affairs Office, Casey Collard-Jarno, who coordinates our graduate assistantships, and Chris Carter, one of our first-year graduate students who works with the Sahe program as part of his assistantship. I'd like to especially recognize the 6th person, Melissa Williams. We've worked side by side all year. Melissa has been instrumental in helping make the many major improvements to our Sahe program this past year. Please join me in recognizing all 6 of these people for their contributions. Finally, the Sahe program enjoys the support from both the School of Education and the Division of Student Affairs. And the 2 people who are our biggest supporters and provide the leadership to make that possible are Dr. Dan Robinson, the Director of the School of Education, and Dr. Blanche Hughes, the Vice President for Student Affairs. Dan is with us this afternoon and is in the audience. Dan, would you please stand and be recognized all the way back in the back. Blanche Hughes, who would normally be up on the stage with us, is not here today, but there's a good reason. Her son is graduating from Fort Collins High School. He's on the track team, and he runs the 100. Yesterday, their 4x100 relay team qualified for the state finals in that event. And the finals event is today, we think in about 15 minutes. And so she's in Denver being a proud mom, and we're hoping for a text message a little bit later in the ceremony. Blanche has asked two of our faculty members, Judy Minschow and Bobby Kunstman, to make comments for her advisees and to hood both of them. One of the long and strong traditions for this ceremony is for the group of graduating students to select a member from their group to be the student speaker this afternoon. This year we have a duo who have been chosen by their fellow students and will be making student remarks this afternoon. It's a very special honor. Please join me in welcoming Melissa Williams and Zelena Sierra to the podium.
Hola, buenas tardes y bienvenidos.
Hello and welcome to the Sahe graduation. My name is Melissa.
And I'm Suzana, and we are happy to be speaking on behalf of the 2013 cohort. I remember the first time we were all together. It was about 2 years ago. We were at Tamasag for orientation. It was in the mountains, just a beautiful, beautiful location.
Looking around that room at the faculty and the cohort, or at that point, a random group of strangers.
Yeah, like I remember that guy that kept saying something about Brooklyn every other sentence.
Yeah. Or the 5 people that seem to already know everything about CSU possible to know. I felt that I had no idea what I'd gotten myself into, and I was not certain I would ever feel at home or as though I belonged here.
Yet, here we are. There are no other people that I would have wanted to experience Sahe with. And those people that I was unsure about have turned into my lifelong friends. This cohort is a dynamic and well-rounded group, with each person in it having a unique strength. Between the 18 of us, each person has a unique strength. And between the 18 of us, there will always be someone you can call about anything you're having issues with, work-related or school-related. So speaking about our unique cohort and all of our experiences, we wanted to share some fun details about the cohort that you see before you today.
We come from 16 undergraduate institutions, both public and private, with degrees spanning from English to engineering.
We speak 6 different languages.
We visited over 8 countries in the last 2 years.
We have attended 228 classes,
Advised over 75 student groups, mostly thanks to Azra.
We've completed 40 practicums,
Presented 23 group projects, 2 of which we still don't have grades for.
and we've written over 3,000 pages each.
Sahe has given us a plethora of opportunities and experiences, many of which you'll see pictured in our slideshow during our reception. Going to Mexico and China, practicums locally and across the world, as well as networking at conferences and on campus. But the items you won't see pictured in the slideshow may be the most important things that we've experienced while here at CSU. They are the things that we'll look back on and miss the most, and have likely had the largest impacts on us, the faculty, staff, and the students we will serve. These are the things that happened in the ordinary day, that allowed for the extraordinary experience that is Sahe.
It's the little things like walking across campus and being stopped every 10 feet by someone you know or a student wanting to ask you a question.
It's the long phone calls and emails home to family and friends when we questioned what on earth we were doing here and if it was all worth it.
And it's the phone calls to cohort mates when you're trying to decipher what an assignment really means.
Like, what is a memo? It's the student who stops in and needs to talk. And even though you're already late to a meeting or class, you have a million other things to do, you stop it all for them and listen. And you may not know that day, you may not know that week, but you find out at some point it made a difference.
It's never leaving class when it's over, but rather staying and chatting with at least 5 other people in the cohort.
It's student group meetings that go hours past when they're supposed to, and you stay anyway.
It's Facebook threads that go on for days about theories and current events like the riot.
It's the delicate dance of scheduling 6 people for a group presentation meeting, which means you may meet at a 7 a.m. or 10 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yes. It's watching the sunset over the mountains as you walk home at the end of the day.
It's speaking on the phone with someone who lives down the hall, across the street, or whom you're walking to meet anyway, but you need to talk to them so much that you can't stop the conversation.
It's the ability to be with one of your best friends within 10 minutes, no matter when they call.
It's having 17 other people know and understand what you're going through in a way that you could never explain to anyone else.
Colorado State has been a learning lab for us for the past 2 years, and we're forever grateful to the faculty, assistantship supervisors, and staff that have mentored and taught us. Class of 2013, always remember that the harder we worked, the closer we became.
The trials we endured made us the professionals we are today. We need to keep growing and accept the new challenges that will come our way.
All of us need to realize our own potential. We have stretched and pushed each other to be better, and through that, so much has been accomplished.
We need to recognize that now we are going into a field where we will have the ability to impact uncountable numbers of students. We must take that responsibility seriously and without reservation.
We need to tackle this opportunity, not as an obligation to the profession, but as a fulfillment of our hard work and the reason we went into this demanding and ever-changing field.
So Sahe 13, when we leave today as new professionals, let's take on our new roles as we've been taught, with self-reflection, dedication, guidance from colleagues, and always remembering to put students first.
We are so proud of all that the class of 2013 has accomplished, and we know that none of us will lose sight of where we came from and why we chose student affairs.
Live the dream, Sahe.
YOLO!
Thank you both. Typically, when we begin our hooding ceremony, we start by alphabetical order, last name of the advisor. Today, we're going to start with Dr. Judy Minshow. She has a flight to catch at DIA at 6 o'clock, so she's going to go first, and then she's going to head out here. So we would like to proceed with the hooding of our graduates, and to begin, I'd like to introduce Dr. Judy Minshow.
Good afternoon, family members, friends. I have two advisees to hood today, and so the first one I will ask up to join me on the stage is Dan Hammond. Dan came to the Colorado State University Sahe program with the mind of an engineer. He had graduated magna cum laude with a BS degree in engineering, and then he went out and worked for 3 years as a professional, getting experience as an engineer. But I believe today he will leave us with the soul of a student affairs professional. In his 2 years at CSU, Dan has explored a wide breadth of experiences, working as an assistant resident director as his primary assistantship in Parmalee Hall. He also served over 300 undergraduate students as an enrollment advisor in the College of Business, and while doing that, saw a need and created a customer relationship management database that continues to be utilized today. Dan furthered his skill base by becoming a trained challenge course facilitator. And for those of you who don't know what a challenge course is, another terminology is a ropes course, where people focus on team building and resolving issues. So with those skills, he then completed a practicum in which he researched and created an outdoor adventure and environmental justice retreat for undergraduate students. He capped his knowledge base by going on his first international trip with the Sahe program to universities in Beijing and Shanghai, China, where he presented at an International Student Affairs Conference at Beijing Normal University on the topic area of resident life and conduct. While Dan and I share a mutual affection for logic and order, we both agree there is no better way to spend our days in our professional life supporting and guiding young people. This, I am certain, Dan will accomplish as he begins his student affairs career at Pacific Lutheran University in Tacoma, Washington this year. Congratulations, Dan, and welcome to the profession. ask Melissa Williams to join me. Melissa, I'm certain, and I know her family's here, I see her father over there, I'm certain her overachieving nature began in childhood. Am I right on that? And probably her parents will confidently speak to you about that at the reception later. As her advisor, I can attest to her many accomplishments while working to achieve her master's degree, which she will receive today. Melissa also came to the Sahe program with 2 years of professional working experience in residence life at Michigan State University. She is quite the traveler as well, spending her summers supervising high school students on service learning trips to places such as Costa Rica and Canada. To meet her practicum retirement, she continues to feed this penchant for travel, and she secured a summer position at the University of Hawaii, Hilo. That's a tough one, isn't it? She worked there, transitioning Native students into the university setting. Melissa also participated in the Sahe program China experience, along with Dan and some other of the cohorts, traveling to Beijing and Shanghai and presenting at Beijing Normal University as well at the conference. Melissa's primary assistantship was with Conflict Resolution and Student Conduct Services Office, where she coached students, taught classes and workshops, adjudicated conduct cases, and where she truly blossomed as a confident student affairs professional. And I will defer both to my colleague on the stage, Paul Ossenkopf, and I see Chris Bryson in the audience. They can attest to how much she grew through that particular assistantship. In addition to the primary assistantship, Melissa also co-advised the National Resident Hall Advisory Group and served as a supplemental assistantship for the Sahe program, where she was the graduate assistant, where her event management and organization skills were tested and put into service, highly. Melissa's multiple experiences have challenged her, and she ultimately met them in fine fashion. I have seen you grow exponentially in 2 years, Melissa, and I loved the phone calls, the texts, the emails. I can't do this. But she could, and she did. And I'm very proud of you for making it all the way through and maturing as a professional. So with that, I know you will also be arriving at your new destination, which coincidentally is Pacific Lutheran University in Tacoma, Washington. So she and Dan will be colleagues. I don't know, maybe it was them or my assistant surviving it. Congratulations on securing a position, and with that, also congratulations and welcome to the profession. And I will also have one more individual join me here at the podium. As Dr. McElfresh indicated, our Vice President for Student Affairs is at the track meet, and so Ben Warzel is one of her advisors.
Yep, Ben!
It is my honor that Blanche and Ben have chosen me to convey her remarks. I served as internal faculty committee member on Dan's portfolio, so I do have the privilege of getting to know Dan a little bit better through both that process. So I'm going to read Blanche's remarks to you, Ben. Ben has been wonderful to work with over the last 2 years. He came to the Sahe program with 6 years of professional work experience and a real passion for learning, both in and outside of the classroom. His graduate assistantship for the last 2 years has been in the Career Center, and he has also served as a fraternity advisor. I always looked forward to our meetings because you were always prepared with good questions and shared your reflections and insights with me. Ben made good use of his iPhone, taking notes and leaving messages for himself to stay focused and on task. Dr. Hughes teaches a course this semester in the spring, of the last semester of the Sahe program. It is Higher Education Administration. And she writes that she was particularly impressed by Ben just about a week or so ago when he responded to questions from a case study for his group where he was serving in the role of Vice President for Development and Enrollment. Is that true, you guys? Apparently, with spontaneous creativity, even his group members and colleagues present were surprised of it. He expressed a level of knowledge that maybe some of it was made up. But what it did demonstrate is that he could tackle difficult questions from professional and classmates with the level that is appropriate for a Sahe professional. I have seen Ben grow in his knowledge of student affairs and in his confidence to practice the profession. His portfolio was thoughtful, scholarly, and insightful. I know he wants to find a position here at CSU or in Colorado, and I hope that he does just that. It would be an honor to continue to get to work with Ben, and any institution would be lucky to get him. Thank you, Ben, from Blanche, for teaching her and for all your contributions to the Career Center, to the Sahe program, to the Division of Student Affairs, and to Colorado State University. With that, I would like to convey Blanche's congratulations and welcome you to the profession. You all will excuse me as I scurry off the side of the stage as my 89-and-a-half-year-old mother is looking forward to seeing me later today. With that, I would like to invite Dr. Linda Ahuna Hamill to the podium to introduce and congratulate her advisor. Jose Pena, please join me. Bear with me. Bienvenidos a la familia de Jose Peña. Estoy agradecida de que estén aquí para la graduación de Jose. Él ha trabajado duro, pero él no pasó por este viaje solo. Ustedes han estado con Peña desde que empezó a asistir a la escuela de niño. Es fantástico que estén aquí para darle apoyo mientras completa su maestría. Con este posgrado, él está más preparado para trabajar con estudiantes y hacer una diferencia positiva en la educación, el desarrollo y el aprendizaje de ellos. Ustedes han ayudado a dar formas a sus valores y dedicación hacia otros. Así es que hoy quiero felicitar a Peña, pero al mismo tiempo quiero darles las gracias a ustedes. I first met Peña when he came to interview for the Sahe program. Like other candidates, he was excited about what he could gain from the classes and the chance to apply that learning in his student affairs work. So while he was not totally unique in his interest and motivation in pursuing his graduate degree, he certainly stood out in other ways. He talked about skydiving and how he jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. He was confident in his knowledge, skills, and ability and took the leap, knowing that he would land safely. And obviously, he did. Peña came to Sahe with a commitment to learn as much as he could so he could be more effective in working with high-risk student populations in disadvantaged communities. He also aspired to gain a better understanding of what it means to be in student affairs. While I believe Peña has achieved his goals, I also know that his time in Sahe has been another personal challenge. When he first came, he was a little unsure he had made the right decision. He missed his friends and family. He needed to complete extra coursework. He pushed himself when he thought about leaving. He took in feedback and did what he needed in order to persist and succeed. He understood what it meant to raise the bar and then to surpass it. Now he stands here beside me, having completed a rigorous curriculum.
He has also gained valuable experience through his assistantship and has learned so much from his supervisor, Karanda, who expected great things from him and settled for nothing less. In his time at Colorado State, Pena has clearly gained much more than knowledge and skills. He has grown in his confidence, experience, and professionalism. He has taken another leap, and I know that he will be able to land safely as he continues as a student affairs professional. I know he will remain firmly grounded in his beliefs and his values and his commitment to making a difference. And at the same time, I hope he will choose to fly and to soar to new heights. Congratulations and welcome to the profession. I'm asking Dr. Mackey to help me with the hooding because it's not as impressive if you choke your advisees when you're trying to do that and honor them. So thank you. Long years. No promises. I also want to acknowledge the family of Long Lu, who I'm glad is here today. He talked about you often when we met together and is very proud of you and thankful for your support throughout his educational journey. You mean the world to him, and no matter where he may find himself working, he knows that you are his home. I met Long when he was an undergraduate student at Northeastern and attended a NASPA conference where I was introduced to him by one of our alumni. I was very excited when I knew he was applying to our Sahe program, though I found out later that he did so reluctantly and actually had decided before he even came here that he probably wasn't going to attend Colorado State University. True to what I have come to learn about Long, however, he was able to consider new perspectives and possibilities when he learned more about the Sahe program firsthand, and thus wisely decided to accept our offer of admission to our program. Those who wrote letters of recommendation for Long said things like, "One of Long's strengths is his enthusiasm and passion for the things he cares about." And Long displays initiative and independence in his desire to learn about higher education. He takes command and ownership of his work, while understanding the need to seek advice when required. While there were many more positive comments, these stand out to me as characteristically consistent of Long. He is also highly committed to diversity, to building community, and to developing students into leaders. In his application, he said that his aim is to someday become a dean or vice president for student services, and I believe this is a goal that is definitely within his reach. He has been strengthened by his past, is motivated by what he learns every day, and committed to a future in which he can live his values. I have been impressed with Long for more reasons than I can share in my remaining 2 minutes. I love his passion and his willingness to share and to listen. We have had many conversations when Long has virtually argued a heartfelt point, listened to alternative perspectives, and then said, "Oh, that's true too. I can see your point." He is always striving to do better and takes all feedback to heart. He is persistent and disciplined. He has been known to give up eating for a whole day, just so he could be ready to eat as much as sushi as possible that night. Twice. He appreciates learning from his professors, peers, and students. He approaches new experiences with a positive attitude, and I know that his colleagues and students at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign are going to love him. I will miss you, wish you well, congratulate you, and welcome you to the profession. I'm asking Dr. Mike Ellis to help with the hoodie. I would like to now ask Dr. Jody Donovan to come to the podium.
I'd like to welcome Michael Puyu to join me on stage. Wow, this has been an incredible adventure for Michael. Michael was very intentional and thoughtful about enrolling in graduate school to complete his master's degree in student affairs and higher education. Michael had been working professionally for 8 years in a variety of capacities, including director of the YMCA Camp Wakila on Orcas Island in Washington, site coordinator for People to People in Washington, D.C., resident director for Semester at Sea, and other residence life positions at Western Washington and St. Olaf College. As you can see, Michael had a whole other life before coming to Colorado State. Michael earned his Bachelor of Arts in English Literature from Western Washington University, and prior to that, he studied film production and organizational leadership at Chapman University in California. My favorite part of Michael's background is his love of Disney. In fact, he's visited all Disney parks around the world. Pretty cool. During his 2 years at Colorado State, Michael explored a wide variety of student affairs areas, including working as the graduate assistant for programming for campus activities for a year, and the coordinator of central programs and staff development for Apartment Life this past year. He dabbled in Greek life, career development, parent-family programs, assessment, residence life, and served as an on-site intern for the Placement Exchange job fair at our annual conference. One of Michael's main objectives for the Sahe program was, and I'll quote, to be a sponge and soak up as much knowledge, experience, and new perspectives as possible. He goes on to say in his portfolio, quote, I set my sights on saying yes to as many opportunities and experiences as I could to learn more about the field of student affairs. This was my mission. Along the way, he and his wonderfully supportive partner, Caitlin, experienced the joyous arrival of little lady Puyu in the back, Adelaide Margaret Puyu, their daughter. She's the light of Michael and Caitlin's lives, and all decisions focused on her future. Michael is clear on his values, centering on family, wisdom, adventure, passion, integrity, commitment, learning, sharing, productivity, and mindfulness. Embedded in these values, or woven through these values, I believe, is also fun. Michael is a playful character who likes to be silly, and he likes to have fun. He treasures his chosen family of friends across the country, maintaining connections over the years and across the miles. In addition to his playfulness, Michael can be deeply serious, thoughtful, curious, and logical. Others describe him as accepting and brave, complex, giving, and very knowledgeable. I would describe him as a wonderfully supportive partner and father. He and Caitlin overcame numerous employment and personal struggles and challenges during Michael's Sahe experience, but through it all, they remained steadfast and committed to one another. I know it wasn't easy, and yet Michael stands here today, ready to jump, ready to go on to the next adventure at Keene State College in New Hampshire, returning to his original passion to serve as an assistant director of residence life. Welcome to the profession, Michael. Your turn, Sarah. All right, Sarah. Authentic, passionate, sensitive, self-aware, also silly, thoughtful, committed to service, a very loyal friend, profoundly human, lover of reflection, art, and dialogue. Sarah's a true student affairs professional. These are just a few words to describe Sarah Stevens. While I was not able to add with honors to your diploma, I want everyone to know that Sarah's portfolio was, in Dr. Mike Ellis's words, so darn good. You can replace what the real word was in there. It actually brought all of us on her committee to tears. Sarah's motto is "Joy is the journey." She truly focuses on the journey, not on the destination. Sarah's journey began at Colorado State, fall 2006, as an undergraduate student majoring in art. Sarah caught her first taste of student affairs as a member of Key Community. Her undergraduate and graduate career has been loaded with involvement and employment with Pingree Park, the Challenge Course, Key Communities, Residence Life, Orientation, and student leadership involvement and community engagement. In every endeavor, Sarah brings her whole self, relishing in the journey. Not only is she a sponge, she wrings herself out numerous times to make sure she soaks up everything. During Sarah's portfolio defense, Janine Moore, general counsel and law professor, said it best, quote, "Sarah is not afraid to wrestle with ideas and concepts. She gets in the mud. She sees lessons in everything she does, and she is wise beyond her years," unquote. Jen Johnson, her slice supervisor, said, quote, "Sarah's ability to make meaning and build relationships is Sarah's way of honoring the sacred." Sarah took advantage of 2 different assistantships during her time in Sahe as well, serving as the Residence Education Graduate Assistant and the Volunteer Programs Graduate Coordinator in Slice. In addition, she completed a practicum at Radford University in Virginia as a NODA intern for new student programs and orientation, and served as a graduate advisor for the alternative break trip to the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. Over the past winter break, Sarah traveled to Merida, Mexico on the Sahe Uwadi International Field Experience to study global perspectives in student affairs and higher education at the Autonomous University of the Yucatan. While Sarah is incredibly humble, Pat Rastel instead believes that, quote, "the harder she works, the luckier she gets." What Sarah has accomplished is due to her hard work and dedication, not luck. I was fortunate to teach with Sarah this past fall as she served as one of the 2 graduate teaching assistants for student development theory. Her creativity, passion for active learning, and engagement brought so much fun to the class as we traveled through Tuckman and Jensen's group formation theory. One of the things I love most about Sarah, though, is her willingness to take a minute now and then to reflect on her experiences. She regularly stops to think about her experiences, the learning, growth, and development, and the impact she has on others. Sometimes these reflections are drawings and pieces of art. Often the pictures capture the journey so much more than the words. Sarah accepted a position as a resident director for a residence hall focused on outdoor adventure and sustainability at the University of New Hampshire, both of my advisees ending in New Hampshire. While she will miss her Colorado friends and family deeply, she will continue to find joy in the journey. And now we have to adjourn. Welcome to the profession. I'd like to welcome Dr. Michael Ellis to the podium.
So before I recognize my 2 advisees, I want to tell Melissa and Zalema, I'm still stuck on the 3,000 pages of reading that I think for Linda and my class, there are 3,000 readings alone in there, so I want to know whose class you didn't read for. I'd like to welcome to the stage Jake Cohen. Jake obtained his Bachelor of Science degree in sports management with a minor in business from the University of Connecticut, where his father works. Prior to beginning here at CSU, Jake also had professional experience at Husky Sport, an after-school nonprofit agency dedicated to serving youth ages 5 to 17. For the past 2 years, Jake has served as the marketing graduate assistant in campus recreation. It's a long list here. Completed practicums in residence life and orientation and transition programs, co-taught a resident assistant course, was a staff advisor for 25 out-of-state students in the first-year mentoring program, and served as the technical managing editor for our journal Student Affairs. Among the many highlights of Jake's experiences was taking first place in the American College Personnel Association's Winter Case Study Competition with a couple of his colleagues, and presenting on the responsibilities of privilege at CSU's Diversity Symposium last year. Beyond these rich experiences, what is most impressive about Jake has been his journey and understanding of the many privileges afforded in his life, beginning first, and in Jake's words, his very supportive parents. And now he has an obligation to make use of this privilege in creating positive social change. Jake will have the opportunity to blend this passion for social change along with his experience in both the nonprofit world and in student affairs into his recently accepted position at the Ohio State University. He will serve as their coordinator of service and outreach in the Ohio Union. Congratulations, Jake, and welcome to the profession. So Olivia completed her Bachelor of Science degree from George Washington University in Political Science and Hispanic Literature. Considered one of the more experienced in her cohort, Olivia had extensive professional experiences in international education prior to coming to CSU, along with travels across the globe. Olivia has served as an international apartment life manager for the past 2 years, in which she's responsible for a community of 500 residents. She also completed practicums with International Student and Scholar Services and Study Abroad, co-organized a field experience for her cohort and faculty to Shanghai, Beijing, and Hong Kong, served as an advisor to the Global Ambassador International Student Program, and was the managing editor of coordination for our Journal of Student Affairs. I don't think any of us could challenge ourselves more than Olivia has during the past 2 years. She did all the reading, and she usually wrote papers, legal briefs, reflections, and even emails to me that were longer and more thorough than they needed to be. All precious. She's a great scholar, and I know we'll someday see research from her which will change how students become internationalized and global in their experiences and in their thinking. Thanks for sharing your profound insights, Olivia, and your positive outlook on all things around you, and most importantly, your love for everything international. Olivia has recently accepted a position as the International Programs Coordinator for International House in partnership with Columbia University in New York, in which she'll oversee orientation and large-scale programming. Olivia, congratulations. Promise to keep sending me those long and thoughtful emails, and best wishes as you head back to the East Coast. Now, Dr. Oscar Felix to the podium.
I'm trying to start a trend with wearing the hat here. Yeah, you like it? Thank you, thank you. I'd like to ask Azra Srnovorchevich up here, please. For 2 years, I got it. Yes, thank you, thank you. As advisors in the program, we always look for connections with our students to build rapport and trust. With Asra, we connected on the fact that we both grew up in California, but were born outside the United States. English was our second language, and learning to be American continues to this day. Yet, what uniquely defines Asra's American, California, and Colorado experience is her history as a Bosnian war refugee, with her Muslim family fleeing their war-torn country and moving to Germany, then the United States. Having a fresh start in California, Azra made the most of it by being a student leader both in high school and at Sahe State University, where she earned her degree in public relations. As an undergraduate, she was a Salzburg scholar and attended a global seminar in Salzburg, Austria, to challenge present and future leaders, including United Nations staff, to solve issues of global concern. Azra's experience in the study tour to China and Hong Kong was deeply meaningful and transformative. Her portfolio reflection documented her deep appreciation of the cultural experience, the social political realities, and thoughtful self-awareness, connecting her experience as an immigrant to understand yet another culture. I appreciated her quoting the East China Normal University model: seek truth, foster originality, and live up to the name of the teacher. By the way, the faculty really liked that last part of that motto. Deciding on a summer orientation program internship was a little agonizing for Azra, for she had 3 amazing options: Texas A&M, DePaul University in Chicago, and the University of Missouri. We discussed the options for a while, and Azra asked me for my opinion. I said, go with Texas A&M. It's a well-known orientation program, great traditions, so much to learn from them. The next day, Azra tells me she chose DePaul. It turns out Azra made the right choice, as she describes the DePaul experience as nothing short of phenomenal. DePaul University, a private institution, gave her the opportunity to shape their orientation program, avoiding being just a small moving part in a large machine such as Texas A&M. Azra made great contributions to the new Student and Family Engagement Office, including analysis and evaluation of participant satisfaction surveys. DePaul was right to call for sure. Azra served as one of the teaching assistants for the ethics course that Andrea Reed and I teach, where she did a great job grading papers for content, APA format and style, and sharing in the teaching and leading of discussions. It is not an easy job reading and grading 20 papers, and you don't get paid for it either. But Azra recognizes that it made her a better writer. Azra's article entitled Religious Identity Development Theory as it Applies to Muslim College Students was published in the 2012 edition of the Sahe Journal of Student Affairs. Azra received second place at the Order of Omega Honor Society Case Study Challenge in 2011, a test of problem-solving skills in the area of fraternity and sorority advising. From the same organization, Azra was honored as a Graduate Student Fellowship recipient, awarded to graduate students for improving their fraternity and sorority experience. Azra has accomplished a great amount during her time in Sahe and is clearly ready for her 3 areas of interest: fraternity and sorority life, orientation and transition programs, and student leadership programs. Whether that happens in California, Colorado, or somewhere else, I know Azra will carry her family close to her heart. For me, I will mostly miss her big smile and the way she says my name in Spanish. Oscar! Azra, I welcome you to the profession. Courtney. A word Courtney would choose to describe her Sahe experience, and perhaps even her as a person, is determined. Determined to seek truth, understanding of self and identities, and of working hard despite obstacles. Determined to put in the work required of her, both in classroom and assistantship, while balancing family and relationship priorities. Determined to be both strong and vulnerable during her dad's battle with cancer, which he lost in October. Having lost my own father the previous year, this is a point of connection I'll always share with you, Courtney. Determination was indeed needed as Courtney juggled her life in the program and life in Denver. While serving as a diversity coordinator for Guide in Residence Life, she was responsible for hiring, training, and supervising 5 students, program paraprofessionals in charge of providing programs with diversity focus for 13 residence halls. Courtney supported and co-programmed with other offices on campus. Recognizing a need for staff development and her work team, Courtney co-created the Guide Summer Coordinator and Paraprofessional Training, allowing for improved communication and programming. Despite her multiple obligations, Courtney found the time to serve as lead organizer in the Sahe Student of Color Network, advisor for AFES in the Asian American Pacific Islander Cultural Center, and advisor for the Kansas City Alternative Break Trip, peer educator for the Student Alliance for Gender Education, and mentor for Sister of Color United for Education. Courtney served as a panelist in Visible Voices, sharing her coming out story and fielding questions regarding issues facing the LGBTQ community. Courtney earned her undergraduate degree from Colorado State University in Human Development and Family Studies, as well as a Women's Studies certificate. During her time at CSU, Courtney's potential for success in student affairs was recognized as she was selected to receive the Undergraduate Rising Star Award from NASPA Region 4 West. Clearly, it was determination amongst other qualities that earned Courtney this honor. In her online portfolio, Courtney posted phrases that provide wisdom and insight. I will tell you about 2 of them. The first, by Dalai Lama, take into account that great love and great achievements involve great risk. Courtney indeed risked much and yet gained so much more. I have witnessed Courtney's transformation from pure determination to having a more insightful, nuanced perspective on matters she hopes to change in this world. The second is, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So true. By definition, you're currently really living life. Wishing you happiness and wisdom at the end of your comfort zone. Speaking of comfort, Courtney has accepted a position as transfer specialist at the Community College of Denver. So Courtney, I am determined to proudly welcome you to the profession. Up to the podium.
It's nerve-wracking being up here. I'm honored to speak on behalf of Blanche, who isn't able to be here today, so I'm going to read her piece verbatim. I remember when I first met Enrique 3 years ago. He came to Colorado State University as a student leader from the Universidad Anáhuac de Yucatán, UAI, in a student leader exchange program where we take students to their campus in November and they bring their students to CSU in the spring. I had the opportunity to really get to know him when I traveled to Mexico and witnessed his ability to lead and positively influence everyone around him. I was really impressed with how he could get a group of students and staff to listen to him, to follow his lead, and to seek him out for support and advice. That happens both here at CSU and in Merida. I was able to attend his thesis presentation in Mexico, and even though I don't understand Spanish, I was touched by the number of students, staff, and faculty that attended his presentation, and I did understand when he mentioned CSU and SLICE several times during that presentation. I knew that he was truly a student affairs person and started to talk with him about coming to our Sahe program. I once asked him how old he was because I was sure that he had to be a non-traditionally aged student because he has the skills and wisdom that are way beyond his years. I now cannot believe that his 2 years in the Sahe program have gone by so quickly. It has been an honor to serve as Enrique's official advisor, but I want to acknowledge that I had to share him with a few others here at CSU. He also had the support of Shauna DeLuca in international programs,
and Pam Norris and Bobby Kunzman in the Slice office where he had his assistantship. I'm sure that they would agree, along with faculty, staff, and students that work with him, that getting the opportunity to interact and learn from Enrique has been a gift for all of us. The CSU UID Student Leadership Exchange has become stronger because of him. Our outreach and support of international students within Sahe will also be enriched because of him. I also want to thank Dr. Andres Aluja from UID, who surprised Enrique and is here with us today, for bringing Enrique to us and for supporting him over the last 2 years. I know that your mentorship has meant the world to him. Enrique will be returning to UID to work with their student affairs programs, and fortunately, we will also get to continue to work with him. That is good because it would be very difficult for me to say goodbye. I know that one day he will be the president of the university, or maybe have a position even more prestigious, and it will be such an honor to be able to say that I knew him when he used to dance at CSU. So Enrique, my colleague and teacher, I want to honor you with a few words from your language. And thank you, Bobby, who speaks Spanish better than me. Me despido de ti hoy, pero sé que nos veremos de nuevo muy pronto. That means I say goodbye to you now, but I know that we will see each other again. Felicidades, and welcome to the profession.
Joey Kimes, please join me at the podium. Joey would tell you that one of his personal goals is to always find the next challenge in life, to step outside of his comfort zone, and to quote him, he says, "I want a career that's going to push me in ways that I cannot anticipate. I want a profession with new challenges arising on a daily basis." Joey, we can help you with that. Joey is a first-generation college student who graduated magna cum laude from Marquette University with 2 degrees, journalism and psychology, and he decided to find his next challenge and pursue his dream to earn a master's degree in student affairs at CSU. While at CSU, Joey has worked for 2 years as an assistant residence director at Corbett Hall, a residence hall with approximately 1,000 students, and Joey is the perfect person to be an assistant residence director. In his portfolio, he stated, "No 2 students will ever have the same experience or story," thus making each exposure to a new student exciting and challenging. He believes in the holistic development of students. He believes that development happens organically, and he believes that development happens at certain points through personal challenge. And valuing challenge fits quite nicely into Joey's personal and professional aspirations within the field. So Joey challenged himself, and he was involved in a number of firsts. He was an alumni advisor for the Kappa Sigma fraternity. He was co-advisor for our Residence Hall Association. He was asked to be a teaching assistant for the Student Development Theory class that Joey Donovan teaches. Joey's a natural when it comes to teaching, and he's right at home in front of the classroom. And finally, another first for Joey was traveling to China for 2 weeks in January with our Sahe International Field Experience. All of these were new experiences for him. During Joey's portfolio, we told him that he had done more and accomplished more in 2 years than most people do in 10. Joey thrives in fast-paced and high-energy environments. So over the past 2 years, he's also been involved on the editorial board for the Journal of Student Affairs, the journal produced annually by our Sahe program for the past 22 years. This summer, he was an intern for the Campus Center at the University of Hawaii Hilo, one of 3 of our students who were there this summer, where he remodeled the registration process and procedures for registered student organizations. He also developed a presentation and proposal process for the student fees at Hawaii Hilo, a major undertaking. He was one of the coordinators for our RAM-Serve program, where he recruited 10 sites to participate in our annual university-wide community service project. and Joey was also one of the ACPA Winter Case Study winners. In Joey's portfolio, he cited the famous quote, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Joey is the embodiment of this statement. He's always wanted to be a support for students, to listen, to process, to consult, and he's always wanted to offer a challenge for students, to offer a story, to offer a comment, and to offer a question to help them with their developmental journey. Joey, we look forward to following your career. Congratulations and welcome to the profession. Lindsay Mason, please join me. Years ago, Lindsay Mason took a giant leap of faith. She was admitted to the Sahe program. She moved to Colorado, and she started our program without an assistantship, a real rarity. Our Vice President for Student Affairs told Lindsay that she thought she was crazy. But she took a chance on us, and we're glad she did. In her first week at CSU, she interviewed for a student hourly position with Bobby Kunstman in the Slice office, and she was hired. She began to work with and advise the Dean's Council with a group of student leaders in the College of Health and Human Sciences. And over the fall semester, Lindsay's performance was so strong in the Slice office that the next semester the position was converted to a graduate assistantship. Her dedication and determination were recognized, and Lindsay became a graduate coordinator for co-curricular leadership programs. In this position, she had the opportunity to impact a number of students' lives through the coordination of multiple leadership retreats, through the support of a series of leadership workshops serving over 2,000 students, and working with the analysis of our multi-institutional leadership assessment to assist in the improvement of our leadership programs. In some ways, that drive and determination tells you all you need to know about Lindsay, but there's more. She's had many other opportunities to impact students' lives over the past 2 years. In her practicum last summer, she was a resident mentor with the Dorn Scholarship Program at the University of Hawaii Hilo. This summer, this is a summer transition program for students who will be attending the University of Hawaii at Hilo, and Lindsay was serving as the mentor for all of them, providing leadership development, programming, and serving as a liaison with other campus departments. Lindsay was also in a practicum with the Vice President of Student Affairs Office with a newly developed staff mentoring program. She researched peer and non-peer institutions. She paired entry-level staff with senior-level staff, and she facilitated the orientation for the mentors and mentees. And as a result of the strong start of the staff mentoring program, we have more interest now than we can handle. Lindsay's been very active in many other activities at CSU. She was a co-chair of the Slice Award Planning Committee. She was a RA class co-facilitator, and she was a graduate advisor with the Greek Life Office, advising members of the Sigma Alpha sorority. Lindsay also worked with the RAM leadership team and our associated students, assisting with the selection and training of team members and providing opportunities for members to network with faculty and staff across campus. As you can tell, Lindsay has a strong interest in working with students, and she developed her interest when she was an undergraduate, working with the orientation team at Cal State University San Marcos. The Cal State San Marcos staff also recognized her talents and selected her to be a student orientation director. In this position, she managed 50 orientation volunteers, she planned and facilitated their training, and she coordinated all of the orientation day events. Lindsay's strong belief in accessible and attainable higher education began at Cal State San Marcos and has continued at CSU. As she enters the profession, she is interested in helping students gain access to college. She concludes her portfolio reflecting on her graduate assistantship at Slice. She says, "The programs I work with at Slice help me feel fulfilled. I value social justice. I am always trying to continue my learning and appreciate the fact that my job allows me to do so. I work in a supportive environment with staff members who care about each other. The Slice assistantship has easily been one of the most influential aspects of my graduate school experience." Finally, the staff at CSU continue to recognize Lindsay's talents and skills. Just recently, Lindsay has accepted an offer to work here at CSU in our off-campus life department. Lindsay, congratulations and welcome to the profession. Would Jenna Schwartz please join me? Later this afternoon, you'll see Jenna Schwartz wearing a very fashionable green plaid jacket. Only one student each year receives the Sahe jacket. It's been passed down each year from student to student over the past 13 years. To be the recipient of the Sahe jacket is the highest recognition you can receive from your peers, and I will let Jenna tell you more about the history and criteria at our reception following the ceremony. But ultimately, the jacket bearer must be a person of strong character and an outstanding representative of the Sahe program, and that is most certainly Jenna Schwartz. She looks for the best in all of us, and she represents the best of all of us. Prior to coming to CSU, Jenna completed her Bachelor of Science in Business Administration at Western New England University. While she was at Western New England, she was a resident assistant with the Housing Office. She was the president of the Gay Straight Alliance, and she was on the board of directors of the Northeast Association of College and University Residence Halls. Jenna is a strong believer that to reach students no one else is reaching, you have to do things no one else is doing. To do this, Jenna stated in her portfolio, I need to be selfless, have a healthy heart, and continue to learn. And so she believes in making connections and walking alongside students, both figuratively and literally, and assisting them with their light bulb moments. One way for Jenna to do this has been as an assistant residence director for the past 2 years at the Academic Village, working with 17 RAs in a residence hall of 650 students, where we have our honors living learning program and our engineering living learning program. Jenna would tell you that she thrives when making connections. This past summer, she did her practicum in Lugano, Switzerland at Franklin College with the Office of Student Life, where she researched best practices for career services and for student conduct offices. She also conducted an assessment of their first-year leadership programs and their learning outcomes. Jenna was also in a practicum in our campus activities office, and she was one of 5 students who participated in an international field experience this past January at the Autonomous University of the UVT. Finally, she was selected to be a graduate teaching assistant for our Inclusive University class. For our first-year Sahe students, she would tell you that she will remember these 2 years as being full of challenges, full of adventures, and overall, 2 of the most developmental and fulfilling years of her life. Jenna concludes a part of her portfolio by saying, I will be wearing the Sahe jacket proudly until the day the jacket decides it's time for another person to continue the legacy. Being awarded the jacket was more than wearing an ugly old couch for different occasions throughout the year. The jacket meant the world to me. It showed me that hard work pays off, and it showed me how much I truly cared about this program. And she finishes by saying, I'm looking forward to challenging myself after I walk across the stage in May, to find ways to learn every day through reading articles, through writing articles, and learning from colleagues. Starting this summer, Jenna will be able to do exactly that in Madison, Wisconsin. Just a few days ago, Jenna accepted a position at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where she will be working with their housing department as a resident director. Jenna, congratulations and welcome to the profession. Please join me at the podium. In Chelsea Teresh's first year of college at Western Oregon University, a friend of hers convinced her to apply for student government. She and her friend both applied. They both got positions, and from that point on, Chelsea's life has been about student affairs. Chelsea attended Western Oregon University for 2 years, and while she was there, she worked with the associated students as the student director of the Stonewall Center, where she developed and facilitated programs on GLBTQ issues. She advised the Triangle Alliance, the Gay Straight Campus Alliance, and she developed community outreach programs. 2 years into her career at Western Oregon, in the summer of 2007, she studied abroad in Spain and then transferred to Colorado State University, where she completed her Bachelor of Arts degree in Environmental Sociology. Chelsea continued working with students while she was an undergraduate at CSU. She was a student coordinator for co-curricular leadership in our Slice office, and for 2 years, she volunteered as a student coordinator with Leadership, a nationally recognized student leadership training program. We will remember Chelsea for one of the deepest passions that she has, her interest in making higher education accessible for all of those who desire to go to college. This passion was reinforced through her work in college admissions. After graduating from CSU, Chelsea applied for and worked in our admissions office. She had the opportunity to travel to Kansas, Oregon, Washington, and throughout Colorado, and to talk with high school students and their families. And it was during these meetings that she felt like she was truly able to make a difference and help them open up the possibility for students to go to college. One of Chelsea's favorite quotes is as follows: "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, by the seeds you plant." Chelsea was able to plant hundreds of seeds during that year in admissions. When Chelsea was accepted into the Sahe program at CSU, she was offered a graduate assistantship working with transfer student programs in our Office of Orientation and Transition Programs. And so for 2 years, she supervised transfer mentors, she advised the Transfer Student Association, and she advised the Transfer Student Interest Groups. Chelsea was also able to be involved in an internship with the Native American Cultural Center, where she organized programs, worked with community supporters and volunteers, and collaborated with campus partners and faculty. Chelsea concluded her personal statement in her portfolio by saying this: "I choose to believe that by working in student affairs and supporting and listening to our students, we will be able to plant and nurture the minds of the students. Having the ability to interact and make a difference in a student's college experience is a privilege and an honor." Chelsea has been interacting and making a difference in so many ways over the past 2 years. She's been a co-instructor for students enrolled in a class for prospective RAs. She's been a volunteer with CSU's Project Homeless Connect program. She was involved with the Sahe International Field Experience in China, where she presented also internationally on orientation programs while at the Student Affairs Conference in Beijing Normal University. She's been a first-year student mentor, and she's worked as the sponsorship coordinator with the International Symposium for NASPA, our national association. Chelsea, a few things have become clear from your portfolio, your culminating experience. You've gained a strong professional purpose through your Sahe experience. During your 2 years in the Sahe program, your student staff saw your growth and you saw your growth. You graduate understanding the integration of theory and practice. You graduate with a real clarity and determination, and you graduate with confidence. After graduation, Chelsea and her partner Galen plan to make their home in the Northwest in Tacoma. One of the cool things that happened yesterday was that when we were all at Moby Arena for the graduate student graduation, while Chelsea was receiving her master's degree, her partner Galen was receiving his doctoral degree. Galen, congratulations. So Chelsea, we will remember you for wanting to make college accessible. We will remember you for wanting to make a difference in students' lives. And we will remember you for your desire to succeed. We're very proud of you. Congratulations and welcome to the profession.
I'd like to ask Silvana Sierra to please join me on stage. If ever I was going to be able to overcome a lifetime of coming at the end of the line because of my last name's place in the alphabet, it was obviously not going to be the time when my advisee happened to have a first name beginning with Z. I'm so pleased to be here on this important day, which is not only the graduation day, but also coincidentally the birthday of Dr. Donovan. I've had the pleasure of knowing Sulema from her very first year, in fact, her first days here at CSU onward, that is her first days of undergraduate experience. I remember upon first meeting her, here's a person who will make a difference at CSU. And that really was the case. Making a difference, she did. Through her roles as peer mentor and later staff coordinator at El Centro, playing leadership roles in Lambda Theta Nu, where she continues as advisor. And by the way, I'd be very surprised if there weren't Lambda ladies here in her support tonight. Reading and listening to Sulema's early experiences as a first semester Sahe student is absolutely fascinating because of its contrast to her reflections as a last semester Sahe student. Though her early experiences were sometimes rocky, she is graduating full of confidence in her abilities, faith in and appreciation of her peer cohort members, and a rich range of experiences on which to build her future path. And you heard all of that in her comments earlier with Melissa. Sulema's assistantship was somewhat unusual as program coordinator assistant in mechanical engineering. Now, one might imagine that if you were to find a contrast in culture and values between student affairs and something else, maybe your mind would go towards engineering. Not the case. Whatever uneasiness with one another initially, mechanical engineering came to value Sulema's perspective, her skills, her student development approach, and by the end of her assistantship, they were counting on her to form new processes and ways of thinking about graduate student advising. Sulema has strong interests in cultural experiences and issues, and these were reinforced by and reflected by her practicum choices. She worked at the Universidad Veritas in San Jose, Costa Rica, where she helped to develop a Costa Rica ambassador program, as well as a Tico Mentors program, while also working with their approaches to marketing and social media. She then returned to her own school, her own high school. Imagine the opportunity that she chose to inspire, to be the inspiration for students in her home high school. In order to perform a practicum in the Future Center advising office there, working with both the high school staff, with the high school students, and with the Denver Scholarship Foundation, in order to help students aim for and enroll in higher education institutions. She earned high praise in both her practicum experiences from both her supervisors. The international dimensions of her cultural interests were nurtured also through her participation in the Sahe Global Perspective class and also the trip and related presentations at Shanghai, Beijing, and Hong Kong. Where will her path take her? Will it be international higher education? Perhaps. Multicultural affairs? Perhaps. Access work? Perhaps. Whatever the case, how do we know that Sulema will be eminently successful? We know because she possesses deep commitment, strong intelligence, talent, energy, and warmth. She possesses a smile to light up a room. We know that she knows something about being lost and then building her own path to be successful and effective. And that's a talent that one can practice wherever one goes. We know that she carries motivation, deep motivation, partly a motivation and drawing strength from family and community. She also is motivated by her own first-generation experience and her deep commitment to create opportunities for others, her deep commitment to equity and social justice. Sulema, I've been honored to be your advisor. I am incredibly proud to also now be your colleague in student affairs. Felicidades.
This is your special time. It's an important day, and you are to be congratulated on your accomplishments. And now that you've completed your formal studies, you'll be using your talents and all that you have learned to make your personal contributions to student success and the betterment of college communities. Know that we are proud of you, and that we are proud that you are joining the community of Sahe alums. You will always be a part of the CSU Student Affairs Program, and the CSU Student Affairs Program will always be a part of you. We would like to invite all of you to join us for a reception and toast immediately following the ceremony. It's on this floor. It's around to the left in our north ballroom. Would all of our graduating Sahe students please stand? I am proud to present the Sahe graduating class of 2013.